I'm a CFI down in Florida, and I do a lot of mock check rides and mock stage checks for students that are a part of an accredited 141 program. And I thought it would be useful to talk about the most common mistakes I see in the flight and the ground portion as a part of these training lessons. Now, this video could be like 5 hours long, so I'm just gonna go with whatever I can think of off of the top of my head. I can make like 10 different of these, like versions of this video, but overall, it literally doesn't matter, like private, instrument, commercial, the inability to use the GPS. And this becomes one of the most frustrating things as a CFI, seeing the same mistakes over and over and over again. I was one of these people, and I've seen this so many times now that with my own students and anybody that I do training flights with, I will take the extra time to make sure that you understand what it is and how it works. And this really starts in private of not even understanding how the GPS is formatted. And I'd love to make a YouTube video on, I've like created my own system and like made up words and things of how it's oriented. But the inability to use the GPS, and it can give you so much information that people do not realize that it even has the capability of doing. I won't go too much farther into this, but if you don't understand how to use a GPS, get with your CFI, literally like pay for an extra lesson and a full like sit down of like all of the different areas and what buttons to push. Because if you're like in the plane and you're just pressing something over and over repeatedly, wondering why the buttons aren't working and it's not doing anything for you, it looks ridiculous, and you need to solve that problem immediately. I don't want this video to be like 10 minutes long, so I'll make this kind of short. I'm only going to pick 3 things. GPS was the first one. The second one, understanding weather theory. You can memorize, like, okay, here's the things for an airmet, like here's the things for a sigmet, here's the things for a convective sigmet, like high pressure moves this way, low pressure moves that way. But then I'm going to sit there and I'm going to ask you, what is convection? Why is the earth unequally heated? You would be very surprised, and this is probably you, this is the majority of people, it's why I bring it up. People don't understand weather theory. I'm gonna need you to go to the PHAC and just read the entire chapter on weather and go into YouTube and search for videos on weather theory, because when you start uncovering some of these fundamental questions, people don't even know what condensation or evaporation is. I'm talking about like stuff from like elementary school. And if you haven't thought about it in a while, like you're not gonna know. Like this is stuff I had to relearn, but this will totally catch up to you. And this is, when you go in for airline interviews, I'm going in for airline interviews now, they will ask you about weather theory. They want to see if you are more than just memorization. If you understand what weather is, they super care about weather. I'm going to piggyback on weather for my third thing, reading a METAR. There are a lot of things that go into a METAR. I'll put an example up here of like there's some stuff going on in this METAR. I want to know the beginning of the METAR all the way to the end. When you go in for an airline interview, they're going to give you a METAR and they are going to want to know what every single thing is. This is not your instructor giving you a hard time. This is not, somebody asking you something that's unreasonable. This is real. This is your future. Take this seriously. Learn how to read a freaking METAR. There is a METAR abbreviations sheet that you can use on your check ride, right? It's completely accredited. It's an official document. You can use it, but start learning and understanding the concept on how do you read a remark section? What do all those numbers mean, right? Those are my top 3 for right now.